For those who lived before the internet, what was life actually like? You remembered phone numbers, like in your head. The phone number part of our brains is now used for remembering passwords. The only reason I learned my wife's phone number is for the discount card at the grocery store.
My wife and I got very lucky because we paid $30 at the time, 1998, parentheses, and were able to get custom numbers from Verizon Wireless at the time. So the last 4 of our numbers are easy to remember. And after almost 30 years, Jesus, that's a great advantage. Mind you, I still remember the phone number I had growing up in the 70s and 80s by heart.
Quieter. Slower, too.
I feel this one. I miss the slower, and a very large part of me is trying to figure out how to curate that going forward.
Actually better.
So my dad is right, Lo. Yep, a lot better. More fun, more adventures, more mystery, more boredom, which was good because it often led to creativity. We had a saying as kids. If someone said they were bored, we would reply, "You're not bored, you're just boring." We used our imaginations, explored the world until the lights came on, and there were infinite amount of things to do. We'd just walk or ride around getting into stuff. It was the best. You have patience for things. I was born in the 80s, and I'll bet we are the last generation to remember what it's like to send handwritten letters to friends, and the excitement of coming home every day, opening the mailbox, hoping to see if my friends have written back. Also, if we decide on Tuesday morning to meet up on Friday at 2 p.m. in front of the arcade, we'll all show up on time. Edit. Loved reading all the responses, guys. I didn't expect to feel nostalgic and melancholy today for sharing tidbits of my childhood. So many anecdotes made me feel warm and fuzzy like looking at old photographs. Thank you. I used to read books. I would sit down at 1 p.m. on a Sunday with a book and read it until it was time to eat. Then I might read it some more. There was always a stack of books about to be read or partially finished. I bought about 4 fiction books and 1 nonfiction a month, around 60 books each year. I donate all the ones which were subpar and keep the good ones. My house is still full of books. I now buy about 2 books a year. I last read a book in August. I don't have the patience for it. You didn't have to hear what everybody thinks. This is the huge one for me. A conversation about politics or values or life was so rare that you'd actually look forward to it. And you'd ease into it, you and the other person feeling each other out to see if you had common ground before you touched on a controversial issue or made a blanket statement, even at Christmas, even at a house party at 2 a.m. And there were fierce debates in whole communities or areas of life that I simply knew nothing about. Whereas now, if people get angry or enthused enough, you're going to hear about it eventually, no matter how little you have in common with the people involved. For example, I have no need to know that there's a far-right element in the furry community, but I do. And it doesn't make me better off. It's one of those things I'd be better off having no opinion of because I shouldn't even know they exist.
All right, short intermission. I've got a mini challenge going. 100 subscribers by the end of the month. Yeah, I know, sounds small, but Reddit taught me that even small goals can cause total chaos. So if you're vibing with this video, tap that channel icon right here. You don't even need to ring the bell. I'm not that annoying. Just one click and boom, challenge complete. Trying to go somewhere you'd never been before was an epic adventure. You had to actually look at paper maps and ask strangers for directions.
I remember going down to London from Edinburgh for the first time with a big copy of the A to Z, and being from a city you can walk everywhere, trying to walk everywhere in London following the maps. Got completely lost, ended up missing my train to a friend's place, Nokia ran out of battery, and slept rough in Regent's Park. Big fan of Google Maps now. Edit, I may be misremembering the phone thing. It's far more likely it ran out of PAYG credit than ran out of battery. Those Nokias ran for weeks unless you played Snake relentlessly. Anyway, the phone was a dead weight by the end of the day.
Life was more social before social media. Before anti-social media. I missed taking a whole week to make plans to meet up with a group of friends. Yeah, it was inconvenient, but it made being invited special. Making a Facebook event isn't the same.
News was slower, more people read the newspaper, smartphones didn't exist, video calling was still somewhat regarded as a sci-fi idea.
I loved the newspaper. Run outside to get it in the morning. The Sunday paper was huge. My family would split up the sections to read during breakfast. I always got the funny pages first. Sunday, my mom and I would go through the huge ad circulars and clip coupons and meal plan.
And newspaper itself is a really useful material. Lined the bird cage, made crafts out of it, spread it over the kitchen table when painting or doing other messy crafts or experiments. Made a lot of oobleck back in the day. Plus, only having the news 2-3 times a day was great. The paper was good for current events and local happenings. It had the event calendar for random stuff going on in town. On TV in the morning, we mostly watched the news for the weather and whatnot. At night, you got a recap of the day's events. The rest of the day, none of us really thought about news. Now you can't get away from it. I really miss it.
Convos were deeper. Research was harder but more rewarding. Video games were way, way better. The library was an exciting place to go. We had to call 1-800 numbers to find showtimes for movies at the theater. I mean, honestly, just go watch Roseanne, the original show. That's what life was like. You called for movie times? I just looked in the paper. You'd find the odd porn mag in bins or discarded in bushes where I grew up. Enough that my eye is still drawn to anything that looks like a discarded glossy magazine. Me and a friend once found a shopping bag full of girly mags in the park behind our house. We were too young to know what to do with them, but were interested in the contents nonetheless. We left them for the next round of kids. A shop near our neighborhood carried porn in a little partitioned room with a black curtain over it. We'd attempt to sneak inside when no one was looking, and you got a lot of street cred if you pulled it off. Once I succeeded, only to my dismay find that all the videos and magazines were covered in black too, and I ran back out. Lol. I was born in '92, so the internet did technically exist, but was pretty limited in scope for the average household until I was a little older. I remember pouring through general knowledge books like almanacs. The kids' almanacs that came out every year were great. And CD-ROMs like Encarta Encyclopedia for hours. Trends like Pokemon cards would catch on only once you saw it in person. Some kid at school had it, or you saw it at the mall or in a TV commercial. Many things felt more time-sensitive and urgent. If you had a favorite TV show, you had to be seated by the TV exactly when it aired to watch it, or make sure you had loaded a VHS to record it, or later TiVo. Edit. Oh, and good luck finding a song you liked if you heard it randomly in a store or on TV without the title displayed during the music video or commercial. I first heard One More Time when I saw the music video on TV when I was 5 years old and remembered it but didn't know how or where to find it until iTunes happened 8 or so years later. Dating. You had to meet girls in the wild, ask girls for their numbers, call them, and try not to sound like a tool. You also couldn't ghost or discard people so easily. It was more challenging. Clout was in real time. There weren't followers online. Your status had to be demonstrable. School. It was more difficult in many ways. If you had to do a research report, this was akin to death. It involved going to the library for hours, searching through books for information, then spending a small fortune on copying pages from the books before you could even begin writing. Work. You applied or asked for an application in person. A lot of jobs, like today, were given via referrals. They mailed you your paycheck or you picked it up and you went to an actual bank to cash or deposit the check. Credit cards were used, but cash was used a lot more. Information. It was consolidated into magazines, newspapers, and TV. Most people read the papers to find out what was going on. Entertainment. It held more value because it wasn't as accessible. You had to go to the record store, hope they had the record, and then spend money on it. Then you owned and cherished the record. Same with movies. Movie rental was a big deal because it was so expensive to just buy the tapes. Radio mattered. Your radio station of choice said something of your personality. Being bored and not knowing. It was accepted to be bored sometimes and not to have the answers. Interestingly, there was less information that could get through, so people were less ignorant in many ways. Viral. Going viral in the 80s and prior meant urban legends. You heard about Richard Gere and the gerbil by word of mouth on the playground. Better. Also, worse. Less bullshit. I mean, the flat earth fuckwits probably still existed, but they were, as they still are, sufficiently separated by distance that they were functionally unable to assemble and create any meaningful impact. This means they were forced to be around normal, rational people, which in turn forced them to be insulted, put down, and faced with reality daily. Now they can communicate and gather online, and they feel a sufficient weight of numbers that they start thinking that their views are valid. The worst part is that the speed of information was so much slower, so there was a lot more space for mistruths and bullshit to gain traction without any questioning. Consider that woman who sued McDonald's because her coffee exploded all over her and was 7 million degrees or whatever it was. McDonald's, being a large company with a substantial budget, was able to change public perception very effectively about that case. And because they were essentially changing the public perception of a case involving one person, that one person had no public voice, so there was no counter-narrative to their lies. They completely got away from making that poor woman look like a gold-digging scumbag for years and years until the truth of the case gained enough traction online that the truth became well known. Every single technology has good sides and bad sides. It's really easy for a bunch of boomer fuckwits to sit around telling everyone that pre-internet, every garden bloomed with roses, and everyone's pockets overflowed with gold, and no one's shit stank. But the truth is that while not without some pretty fucking egregious problems, the internet has, probably, been overall a force for the betterment of humankind. Thanks for watching, guys. Now it's your turn. Drop your thoughts in the comments. For older people, what was life actually like? And yeah, remember that little challenge I mentioned earlier? Well, now I'm actually asking, hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and yeah, go ahead and ring that bell too. I promise I won't spam you, just more weird, funny, and wild Reddit stories coming your way. Talk to you soon.